Hello, I'm Sean Kent Hayashi with Saucon Valley Cute and Cuddly Schnauzers. And this adorable little chocolate schnauzer is Mocha. I'm in my office now, weaving together, editing together clips from some of the highlights of this past week. So this is going to be a vlog style video that Miss Dazzle and Miss Honeybee are going to help me to edit. Here we go. These are Penny and Truffles puppies that were born on April 25th. And this little black boy, isn't he adorable? Megan, look at your little boy. He is going to Colonial Williamsburg. Look at those little tiptoes that he has on him. And then we have 3 girls. You can see them here. They look very similar to each other, but there are some distinguishing factors that are starting to jump out. So they will all have black noses. When I look at the chests of these 3 girls, that's where I'm able to tell. So Eve, this one's your puppy. There you go. This little one's going to New York City. This one has a lot of white. That was what Eve wanted, the whiter one. Here's another one with a lot of white. So what will happen is Eve will get to choose the one with the most white when she comes to pick them up. At the moment, these 2 pretty much look like little twins. So this would be the darker one at the moment. Little puppies. Today, I just weighed them while Mom is eating and doing her outdoor potty business. The boy weighs 12 ounces. 2 of the girls weigh 12.1 ounces. And one of the girls weighs 11.7 ounces. So here are their pretty little faces. Their eyes will be opening soon. These are Sweet Tea and Maui's puppies, and they were born on April 23rd. And this is a little girl, and these 2 are little boys. These 2 little boys are staying in this area. Honeybee, those 2 little boys are your nephews, and they will be staying for our full puppy prep school. They will be here until they are 16 weeks old. And they are going to a home together. So you will be watching these little boys grow up together. Up until they're 16 weeks old, they'll be here regularly in my puppy prep school. You'll also notice you can start to tell some differences in coat. So this one, the redder one, seems to have very straight hair, where the golder boy tends to have some wave going on in his hair, his coat. Our little girl here, she's going to be very beige in color, and she seems to have a straight coat at the moment too. These are Godiva and Maui's puppies. And so this is Harley. Gussie, there's your little boy. Look at that adorable little dot black nose. His eyes are open. He's walking very well now. And Jan, here's your little girl, Jan and Mark. This is Livy. Livy has a brown nose and green eyes. And these 2 regularly have time where I put them over in what I refer to as the puppy jungle. So they are walking and they can move around quite a bit. So while I'm cleaning some things up for them, I let them go on little adventures. Here's what puppy squeaking sounds like. I'm not sure which one is squeaking, but Penny has just come back from eating her breakfast now, and so they're finding their mommy. Something I must have said in one of my videos about this litter last week caused one person, to ask the question, why would I breed Penny to her son? I did not. No, never would I breed a mom dog to her son. No, I do not inbreed and I do not line breed. So the father of these puppies is our chocolate boy, Truffles. And these two, mom and dad, do not have any relatives in common for at least 5 generations that I can see in their pedigree. So you might have heard me say, what I did say was that Penny is also related to the other 2 litters that I have at the moment. Sweet Tea's litter and Godiva's litter of puppies are Penny's grandchildren, because Maui is Penny's son. But I did not breed Penny to her son. I would not do that. So just wanting to clarify any miscommunication, I would not knowingly breed a dog to another dog that has common ancestors for something like at least 5 generations back. And really what I'm using is the EMBARK coefficient of inbreeding data. So I'm trying to use science to make sure that I am lowering the coefficient, COI, of inbreeding in every litter that I do. You can tell Sweet Tea has just come back from her breakfast and her puppies are very happily nursing. Sweet Tea, yes, you look sort of silly with all that stuff in your beard, and fortunately we've got somebody coming to comb you out in a little bit. Yes. Godiva is happily nursing her puppies now too. It's time for a little nap for everybody. Yes, and I will go do some more cleanup work. Dazzle, we are all in agreement here that you are the roundest mom dog that we have ever seen. We're wondering what that is going to translate into today when we go to do your X-ray to find out how many puppies you are having. So, Miss Dazzle, you are so beautiful. Dazzle is an all-black Schnauzer who is going to be having puppies likely sometime next week. Today, we'll be finding out from Dr. Geller how many puppies show up in the X-ray. Join us on this adventure. This is what Dazzle's belly looks like this morning, and it is a big round belly. For those of you who have watched my channel for a while, you might know this. Dazzle is actually my husband's dog. Now we can laugh about this because when we got Dazzle, that wasn't necessarily the plan, but over time, that's what's evolved. So Jim is with me today as we are coming into Quakertown Vet Hospital to find out how many puppies Dazzle is having. Isn't she a cutie? Look at this cute boy. Oh my goodness, he's adorable. Dazzle's eyeing him up too. Look at that. So cute. Dazzle is getting ready to go get her X-ray. Thank you so much. Dr. Geller just came in and he said he's seen the videos, but he's waiting to show them to us. So we're on pins and needles waiting to find out how many puppies is Miss Dazzle having. They're pulling up the X-ray for us.
Okay, here we go. So, we got 1, we got 2 and 3, 4, and I think that's 5.
Ooh, very good. Wow. Exciting. So sometime in the next week, what do you think from the...
Oh, it's hard to say. All you can say is with this level of calcification, they're definitely typically more than 42 days. So
Okay.
whether it's 45 or 46 or 50, that's much harder.
All right, but we're thinking 4 and maybe 5.
Yeah, pretty sure that's 1.
Excellent. Regularly throughout the week, our guardian dogs come for little visits. Here is our cutie little Miss Moana. Isn't she a doll? Let's see how much she weighs today. Shows she's 4 pounds, 4 ounces. Oh, you are such a cutie patootie. Susan is here today, and so we are deep cleaning everything. So everything got pulled out of the puppy playpen, and deep cleaning for all of the pens with moms in them going on. So you can see here Sweet Tea is definitely taking great care of her puppies. Hi, Sweet Tea. And Godiva's puppies are over here in the little, hi, Godiva. Yes, hello, Godiva. So I can hear my dogs upstairs roughhousing with each other. They're running and playing. Somebody asked me yesterday, how do my dogs get enough exercise? And I said, oh my goodness, if you could see them playing with each other, you'd know. Susan, you're doing a great job as always.
Thank you.
Happy that you're here. I also often get questions from guardian parents about something going on with their dogs. And so I will regularly make them little videos like this one to answer their questions. Hi, Laura. On my website right here, SVCCtoys.com, you'll see my shop. Click on shop. And here, as you scroll down, you'll see the products that I use with my dogs. And one of the things that I had mentioned to you was when a dog is overdue to be in season, we put them on this Be Strong. Let me show it to you here. I'm scrolling down. Be Strong right here. The dog that you might know of as Emma, now named Nellie, I call her Emma Nellie in my head. So Emma Nellie is a little overdue to be in season. And so we are putting her on Be Strong as a way to help her body make sure that it has all the nutrition that it needs in order to come in season in a healthy way. Godiva's puppies are now into their 3rd week. I can start adding toys and things that move. Yes, so they can start to experience the world around them now that they have sight and sound. So when I start talking, for example, they wake up, or when I clap my hands near them, they startle a little bit, which says that their hearing is working very well. At night, I'm still putting them into this space so that they are contained and Godiva can easily feed them. But during the day, I'm letting them move around like you see here. Fortunately, we have had great weather outside today. So the dogs got to hang out outside for quite a while the lower level was being cleaned here. And now I'll be putting all these toys back into the playpen with them. Yes, good job. Fortunately, I can now say, wobble. Yes, wobble. Yes, wobble, Dazzle. Yes, wobble, Mocha. Burberry. Wobble. Yes, wobble. That's so funny. They'll put their paw up on it like, okay, there, I wobbled. Yes, good job. I like to create lots of opportunities for movement so that dogs and puppies aren't always on one dimension, but they can crawl up over, they can crawl onto, they can do steps. And so I start my puppies at a very young age, getting exposed to depth perception, movement like this. And you will be seeing me doing that with this group of puppies very soon. When Mr. Mocha arrived here, he had only been on flat surfaces, and he was very afraid, if you will, of anything that had a depth perception going on with it. And there are some very funny videos of me and Devin trying to get Mocha just to even come off of a places bed or to step up onto something. If you haven't seen those videos, check them out. They'll definitely make you laugh. This is where I used to store my kibble. And you can see that I don't have any in there. I do have a bag of kibble that I know did not cause problems in my dogs. It's fine. This bag of kibble is great. They eat it and have no problem. But I'm really not serving kibble in my day-to-day feeding anymore. You might notice in some of my videos, though, that there are bowls of kibble available, such as right there. Penny has access to a bowl of water and a bowl of kibble, just in case she's a little extra hungry while she's nursing her puppies. But she's getting plenty of my human food stew, so she really hasn't been eating any of that kibble. My mom dogs have access to a full bowl of water, freshly cleaned water every day, and a bowl of kibble, but they aren't really eating it. Right, Miss Godiva? Say, oh, I much prefer the stew that you make. Yes, I know you do, Godiva. Godiva also loves belly rubs. Hi, Godiva. Okay, I'll come give you a belly rub, Godiva. Somebody here has been searching out places, private places, to go dig, because she's nesting and thinking about where she's going to have her puppies. But she's helping me also continue to tell the story of what's going on here. So join me now as I show you how we make our puppy food and serve it here regularly. But I'll also answer some questions that have come up since my last video about feeding my dogs. I love reading your questions and answering your questions here on my channel, particularly when the questions that you're asking are thoughtful, kind, considerate. And here's a really great one. So Growing Puppies 1773 asks, these foods are awesome, but how can we be sure it's balanced? What stands out for me is I don't see organ meat or calcium added. Perhaps you can share the source for your diet plan, or is there a dog nutritionist that is advising you? Thanks. So first, thank you so much for the question. I love these kinds of questions. And yes, I do have people advising me. I get phenomenal experts who I get to ask questions of. But I also have people who are a part of my life and experts in both dog care, nutrition, emergency, veterinary, all of those kinds of things. And I listen to multiple different people and perspectives. I'm so grateful to Tree, who owns Daisy, because he has been so instrumental in helping me think some things out in some new ways. So another way to get more calcium in your dog's diet is to put eggs into your blender. So this is pulverized eggshell, the whole egg. And now I will pour that into my dog's stew for the day. So here is one of the batches of frozen stew that I'd previously made. You can see that I've added some carrots. Now I'm also going to add these eggs and the calcium from the eggshells, as well as the powder here, the grass-fed beef organs. This comes in a capsule, and I open the capsule with the powder and spread that all over the food. That gives the dogs lots of really good things that they need. This is a human-grade food supplement, and this, as well as everything else I'm mentioning or that you see, can be found on my website, SVCCtoys.com. Traditionalschnauzer.com in our shop. So when I add in the egg mixture, it goes from looking like this stew to almost looking somewhat like a frittata. I like to vary things up, so I make sure I'm getting lots of different nutrition options, and today is organic pumpkin puree added to the frittata. Next up, I'm going to mix in the Tri-Pet. The Tri-Pet stinks, but oh my goodness, do my dogs love it. So I'm mixing that in, and notice that I'm not cooking the Tri-Pet. It's already been cooked, and I don't really want that smell throughout my house. So mixing that up really good. And then today I'm going to plate this into 2 different groupings. So I'll divide the dogs into 2 different little packs to eat this. I mentioned in the video that I did the other day how and why I'm using these other foods and supplements. And I've gotten comments about these, like some of you have said, hey, you're not really feeding your dog organ meat. Well, that's why I mentioned this, the grass-fed beef organs. It comes in capsule form, and I spread the powder out over their food. I love thoughtful questions about what I am doing. And so if you have expertise, knowledge, background in these things, and you want to share tips and ideas, please do so in the comments below. Love that. I enjoy talking to people who have deep expertise in nutrition. And in fact, I'm thinking about creating some interviews here on this YouTube channel where we're interviewing people who have background in pet nutrition. So if you are someone like that, or you know someone like that who you would enjoy having visit our channel here, please put their name in the comments below. Let us know who you use. Who are the pet nutritionists you think of as experts that you really value what they have to say? And there it is with the powder sprinkled on top, ready to serve. So again, the questions about feeding my dogs just keep on coming. So I see another one here following up on the comment from Growing Puppies 1773. This is really interesting and helpful, but I also wonder about how to ensure that homemade diets are nutritionally complete and safe. I also wonder whether monitoring the fat content to make sure it stays fairly low, as I believe is recommended for many schnauzers. I'd also like to hear specifically what about feeding kibble caused you concern. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you asked these questions. There is a huge debate going on today about kibble and the problems with it. So dried baked kibble, apparently there is some sort of pesticide that has seeped into, gotten into, not quite sure what the best word is there, many different brands of kibble. It is not confined to one brand, and as a result, kibble across the board has been causing lots of problems in dogs. It's in the national news. You can find lots of groups related to this topic in Facebook. And this is what has caused me to feel like I needed to transition from using kibble as a base and adding toppers to it to actually moving completely to the majority of my dog's food coming from human-grade food while this kibble issue is going on in the national and international pet food lines. Yes, I do make sure that for my adult Schnauzer dogs, they are eating a primarily lower fat. But I think the real issue might be carbohydrates. And as I've talked to several experts in nutrition, they tell me to be very careful about the amount of calories from carbohydrates, the amount of calories from fat. But I really think that if we are doing our best to ensure that we are giving our dogs human-grade food, that's a big improvement. And then the other thing I need to share with you is that I'm feeding pregnant and nursing dogs here. So I need to make sure that I am giving my pregnant and nursing dogs plenty of nutrition and fat so that they can feed their dogs in a healthy way. Now, how do you translate that into what you're doing at home? I think you do the same sort of things that you see me doing here. Just make sure your dog isn't overeating. And please comment below sharing what you feed your dogs. I would really love a collection in the comments below of some of the foods that you are most excited about feeding your dogs. And then also you might include anything that your dog doesn't like. So if there's something your dog doesn't like, maybe share that too, just so that those people who are watching this video and want to better understand serving human grade food to our dogs, the comments will have more information. This is sweet potato. And I heat this up and then I cut it into small chunks. This is ground beef that my husband gets from Costco. And you can see that this particular one was $27.71. I've already taken half of that and put it into my stew pot, and I put water in the stew pot first. Often the water that I'm putting in the stew pot is actually ground up eggshells. So I use my blender and grind up eggshells, making it into a watery substance. And then that's the base for starting my stew. And then I put in the ground beef. And in essence, what I'm doing is boiling the ground beef. Now, is this all I do? Meaning only ground beef and sweet potato? No! Every day I rotate. So today they're also going to get some beef marrow bones. I regularly will put organ meat in here. So yes, once the sweet potato is the texture that I like it, I just put it right in with this. My dogs also get asparagus and Brussels sprouts added in at least once a week or so. Then I usually grab something out of my fruit bowl. Today maybe a pear and an apple. So I'll take the pear, the apple, chop those up really well, add them in with the beef. I've learned that I have to chop the pear and the apple very finely. Let me show you. And I very intentionally cut the seeds out of the apples. Yes, some of you have mentioned to me, make sure you're not feeding your dog seeds. So I'm very deliberate about taking them out, throwing them in the trash. For those of you who really like to cook, you might have a large food processor. I also have a large food processor, but I love to chop. And so I am quite happy. Not sure what this says about me, but I really do. I enjoy this chopping experience. And do I do this every day? No, I don't have to do it every day because I make a really big batch. And then I leave it in the refrigerator and I can scoop it out for 2 or 3 days. And on Sundays, I can even make a big, huge amount and then freeze some of it. So I don't have to do this every day. If you're finding yourself saying, hey, I don't have time to do this every day, just do it when you're cooking your own meal and incorporate some of these things into your own meal in some way. These apples could actually go to the point of being minced. And the reason I say this is some of my dogs are not big apple fans, so they will eat around the apple. Oh, and that beeping noise. Ooh, yay, that means my tea water is ready. The question, of course, is always, what do I start this day with today? I also have another drawer over here with more tea. What do I want to have this morning? So now back to making dog food while my tea seeps. I like to let my tea seep for at least 10 minutes before I doctor it up some more with some cream. All right, back to mincing apples. And of course, if your dog loves apples, you don't have to chop it up as finely as I end out chopping it up. It's all a matter of what your dog likes. Some of my dogs like raw blueberries, others don't. And in this comment, my good friend, Organic Gal, who owns several of my dogs, says my Schnauzers and my Havanese, her Havanese did not come from me, but her 3 Schnauzers did come from me. They love carrots, but Poppy, some of you might know Poppy as Oreo. Oreo came from me. She loves apples. She's right there wiggling her whole body, wanting a piece of apple. I also feed them eggs from my chickens as well, and all the dogs love them. Yes, I love your eggs too, Organic Gal. So I weave the apples in with whatever the meat is. Could be buffalo, could be, I regularly do beef liver or some sort of liver. Just let the apples and the sweet potato or the carrots soak up the beef juices. I also make sure I weave in a variety of different probiotics. So my dogs will eat sauerkraut, believe it or not. I just weave it in very carefully so that it's not big chunks of sauerkraut. And I use typically unsweetened. This one happens to be a vanilla yogurt, but normally it's just a plain, unflavored, unsweetened, but it's got probiotics. Another thing about the jar of sauerkraut, when you've used most of the kraut itself out and there's this liquid left, that's fabulous for you too. Just take a swig of that. This is the same exact stuff that some grocery stores are selling for $5, $9, whatever dollars a shot. It's that stuff. It has great probiotics for your gut microbiome, mine, and our dogs. Eggs are another great way to get protein into your dogs, but there's more to eggs than meet the eye. Next up, I'm repeating myself just a wee bit here, but it's completely different video footage from a different day. But it's making the point that we are getting the calcium, we are getting the nutrients into the food if you're doing it the way I'm showing. Guess what eggshells have a lot of? If you do a Google search on benefits of giving dogs eggshells, you're going to find lots of articles on this topic and why the membranes in the inside of the eggs are also really good for your dog. So I've read several of these, as well as talked to some of my nutritional gurus about the importance of this calcium. So I will often take these eggshells, put them into my blender with some water, and just blend them down into almost nothing, and use that as the base of my water that I put into the bottom of my stew pot. So I mentioned that I like to put water into my stew pot before I put my meat in it. And that water often consists of eggshell pulverized by my blender into that water. So that's one of the ways that my dogs are getting calcium. And I'm responding here to some questions and comments that people asked me, wanting to make sure that my dogs are getting enough nutrition in the food that I'm feeding them. I get really excited by thoughtful questions that come from a place of integrity. So I've also had people ask me things like, can I put ginger in my dog's food? My understanding is yes, you can, and sometimes I do. So when I'm making myself a ginger tea, for example, I would pop off some of the ginger like this, mince this, so chop it up super finely, mince it. I use it for some tea for myself, but then I also will take that ginger and pop it into my dog food, or even, here, I'll just show you. I can even chop this piece of ginger, mince it real finely. I'll do that. For those of you who are still learning about cooking, mincing is just chopping extremely finely. So you're taking a chopping knife like this, and you're running your comb through it your knife through it multiple times. And usually I have my other hand, in other words, it's the hand that is holding the camera right now. I usually have that, in essence, on the top of the knife, and I never, ever, ever put my fingers under the knife. So see how I'm holding the knife like this? I might have my other hand holding the top of the knife up here, this tip right here, but fingers never under the knife. So there's just some little cooking tip for you. But this ginger can be chopped up and put into some water and a lovely tea. Now, why ginger? Well, ginger is known to be a fabulous antiviral. In other words, if you know somebody who you may have been around or you're going to be around today who has a little virus of some sort, just drink some ginger tea or even eat some of this ginger. Your immune system will be stronger for having this in it because this fights off viruses. All right, well, enough of me sharing about that. Typically when I'm cleaning my knife, I clean it with my fingers. I will also scrape with the back of my knife like that rather than the sharp edge of my knife. So now I'm going to put this into the stew. Yeah, just like this, right into the stew. I've minced that ginger up so much that there's no way my dogs are going to get a big chunk of it. But again, it's an antiviral. It's good for me, so hey, it's good for my dogs. Because of the number of dogs that I have, and because my husband and I also like to eat sweet potatoes, he buys at Costco in these big bags like this. So you can see we've just about finished this one. We got one more potato in here and then we'll start on this new bag. And he's buying in volume. So some of you have mentioned, hey, isn't this a lot more expensive? It's not more expensive than Kibble. No. Anne is here working on Mocha. Oh my goodness. Doesn't Anne do a perfect traditional Schnauzer groom? He's stunning, Anne.
Thank you. He's just a beautiful boy.
He really, really is.
He's a beautiful boy. Yes, dear. He says, I'm done.
He's just, wow. And you do such a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's Livy with Jan. So we're having some puppy play dates here. Livy is doing great. Hi, Harley. Hi. Yeah. So Michelle, who is Sweet Tea's guardian mom, is here visiting her. And this is one of the nice things for our guardian families is they get to come and visit and meet the puppies and do all those kinds of things. So you've seen several members of Sweet Tea's family coming to visit her. On really beautiful days like this, my dogs love to come out and be in the sunshine. And when there is a puppy playdate video going, or excuse me, a puppy playdate with a guardian parent visiting, I often put my dogs out for the first few minutes and then I let them come in. You can see Godiva's saying she's ready to go back in, so I'll take her in now. And now Jim has joined Michelle. They own two of our dogs. They own Sweet Tea and Humble. And so we're just having a fun puppy play date. And this is one of those moments where I can let all my dogs out. Jim and Michelle enjoy playing with and interacting with all of them. And that works out beautifully. And they're just really super relaxed and calm. And of course, Sweet Tea is so excited to see Michelle and her family members.
Hey, yeah. Hi, Honeybee, Sweet Tea.
So somebody asked me the other day about Honeybee and Sweet Tea and said, are they poodles? And the answer is no, they're not poodles. They're definitely Schnauzers. And in fact, I have the EMBARK DNA to prove that they are Schnauzers. But when we let them grow out in these long haircuts like this, their hair can get curly. But Michelle was just saying how much Sweet Tea loves her toys and that she will pick them up. And I was explaining that she regularly carries little toys around here, and she apparently does the same thing at your house.
Yes.
Yeah, very fun. So here's the test. Do they like it? I'd say the answer is yes. You'll also notice that there are all sorts of bones, beef bones and other that are big, like really super big, that my dogs could not splinter. And so again, for those of you who are saying, hey, how are your dogs getting enough of certain nutrients? These are some of the things that I am doing, but I am also open to other suggestions and feedback for those of you who have also recently begun to feed your dogs exclusively human grade food. What are some of the kinds of things that you are giving your dogs? Please write that in the comments. I'm going to now separate this out a little bit more, and just wanted to show you what it looked like when they all came together. They're happy to eat together. I do have one doggie that has not chosen to eat this morning. Miss Dazzle. Miss Dazzle is very pregnant. I expect her puppies to be born very soon. I want to point out something about the way my dogs eat, and I suspect many dogs eat this way too. They graze. And so they'll take a few bites, they'll go sit down for a few minutes, maybe go do some potty business, and then they will come back and graze some more. And so for this reason, this idea of like put food down, leave it down for 5 minutes, pick it back up, dogs should be done eating in 5 minutes. I don't agree with that personally. My dogs would not get enough food if I did that. So you can see that they're not voracious, they're not ravenous. I will refrigerate the uneaten portion for their meal later in the day. This is what a potty pad that has been in with the puppies looks like. And what's up next for me is potty pad clean out and clean up and so forth. I'll spare you having to do the laundry with me, but just want you to know the reality. There's lots of laundry here. First load of Mini ready to go. And the sound of the washing machine running means one thing. I get to start the tea water for myself. Today, I think I'm going to have this peaches and ginger. Yummy! And now my cup of tea awaits. I am going to go have my cup of tea with a game of Wordle. A blank Wordle screen and my cup of tea with just the right amount of cream in it is my perfect little break. But it often doesn't take very long. I'll time myself today and see how long it takes me to do my Wordle game. So that was less than 50 seconds. And the only reason I'm sharing that is because I really don't take very long breaks. But now I'm going to play another game from this New York Times series that I've recently learned how to play. In Wordle, if you look right over here and you click on that, you can find that there are these other games you can play. And a friend of mine mentioned some of them to me. So spelling bee, crossword, mini, connections. You can see them here. But I have discovered that I also really love this game called Connections. Here's what it looks like. So you get these words and you have to figure out the categories. I'll do the game and then I'll show you. This will definitely take me longer than a minute to play the game. Not quite sure how long it will take me today, but here we go. What I love about this game is I really have to use my mind. I have to use my analytical reasoning. So you're trying to find 4 that are connected in some way. So ace, crackerjack, hotshot, and expert would be words that could be used to describe someone who is doing a great job of something. But notice we've also got ace, jack, and joker. So I initially was going in that line, but then I couldn't find the 4th thing. So I said to myself, must be something else. Let's see if I've gotten this. So you hit the submit button here, and surely enough, I've gotten that one. So the category there would be highly skilled. So finding these next 4, I first got caught in a line of thinking that went like, I was trying to figure out some of how these might work, but I'm now at the point of saying tire, jack, wrench, and I've got to figure out what the next one is. So I'm working on how to find the fourth one here. And so part of what I love about this is I have to sometimes look things up to see what they mean, and I didn't know the definition of chalk like this. I think of it in a different way, but now that I see this, I know that it's the jack, wrench, tire, and chalk, I'm going to say are correct. And there we go, used to fix a flat tire. So now I've got to figure out the next set of 4. And they get progressively more challenging as they go along. So here's how those 4 groups of 4 went. The first 2 we got pretty quickly, and then the others took me a while to figure out. So words starting with music genres, in other words, pop, rap, rock, and soul. And then this last group, I couldn't figure this one out on my own, but by deduction, it ended out coming together. So Gladiator, Her, Joker, and Signs are movies. So you can see how the game is played now. So it's time for me to get back to my work. Here we go. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. We love your comments on our channel. This is my YouTube channel. Best way to get into it is to click on, so do a search on SVCC Toy Schnauzers. Click on this logo and then look around. We have 571 videos here. If you want to navigate them the best way possible, go to playlists. And then at playlists, when you click on playlists here, this is what you will see. And you will be able to find, for example, Godiva and her puppies, a playlist all about Godiva's puppies. You'll be able to find Sweet Tea and Penny. You'll also be able to find all sorts of things about training dogs. We love to train our puppies. So how to train a new puppy from 8 to 16 weeks. We show you step by step what to do. Please look around, enjoy our videos, and hope you'll join us on our adventure here at SVCC Toy Schnauzers. We are a community of people who both love our dogs and also want to create a community of expanding love and joy in the world.